الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم نحن نتعلم التعليم وتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة وجواب الحث على تمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وتعالى إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير والتزاوج الله مرضاة وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. Last time, what did we do?
I wasn't here last time, was I?
Things that break your wudu.
Good, yes. نواقض الوضوء in Arabic. Go on then.
Istinja. Ghusl.
Think about it. What do you do that breaks your wudu?
Vomiting.
Huh?
Like, what?
No.
There's not. Oh yeah, going to the toilet.
Going to the toilet, so anything coming out of the front or back, that's one.
Yeah.
Touch.
A lady?
Touching a lady if you're a guy, or touching a guy if you're a lady.
What if I touch my mom? Or
No,
no?
that's
Good.
okay.
So these are exceptions that we did talk about in the last class. So,
But and then
touching a mahram, i.e. a woman that you're not allowed to marry, doesn't break your wudu. So people like your mother, people like your sister, people like your daughter, people like your mother's sister or
Yeah,
father's
okay,
sister,
yeah.
people like your grandmother, and then people through marriage. So people like your mother-in-law.
Or your auntie.
Yeah.
Yeah, your auntie, we mentioned your auntie, and your stepmother, or your daughter-in-law, or your stepdaughter. This is obviously for men, and then the opposite for women. Yeah? Okay, that's two.
I'm sure.
Sleeping.
Sleeping, good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so to lose consciousness through sleeping or otherwise, yeah?
What?
And then the last one,
What?
oh,
Press the button. There's a button. There's a button next to
the toilets are closed here, they're out of order.
No, no, in the center. You know, there's a button next to the door. Like next to
Yeah, last one, Yusuf. This is probably the hardest one.
The big.
Yeah, so touching the private parts of yourself or another person. Yes, you remember now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's front or back. Yeah, and we said the palms and the insides of the fingers. Okay.
Yeah.
What else did we talk about last week?
Istinja. Did we?
We did istinja a good few weeks ago now.
I think I forgot.
Okay.
Did we do the 10 rules, or was that like the lesson before that?
That might have been that lesson, the conditions
The 10 conditions,
the
yeah.
conditions for wudu. Okay. Okay. So today's class is talking about what we cannot do if we're in a state of impurity. Okay. So if we don't have wudu, or if we don't have ghusl, which is the shower, then there are certain things that we're not allowed to do. Okay? So the first thing, if you're not in a state of wudu, okay, then there's 4 things that you're not allowed to do. Okay?
No one. Praying.
Praying is one, yeah?
Eid. Praying. Holding the Quran.
Good. Holding the Quran.
Moving the Quran.
Touching the Quran, yeah.
The Quran.
Oh, we did, I think we may have touched on them, but we
Yeah,
didn't
we
finish
have.
them last week. And then
I
the
forgot
last
the
one.
last one. What was the last one? The last one was. I don't know, to be honest.
Tawaf.
What's that?
Tawaf is when you walk around the Kaaba.
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
I remember, yeah.
So for Umrah or for Hajj, it is an act of worship to walk around the Kaaba. It's called tawaf in Arabic, and that is not allowed if you don't have wudu. Okay. So those are the four things: prayer, tawaf, walking around the Kaaba, touching the mushaf, and holding it. Okay, those are the four things. With regards to salah, it's any type of salah. So if it's a fard salah, like dhuhr or asr or maghrib, or a sunnah salah like witr or salat al-duha, then that it's all different types of salah. Also salat al-janaza, okay, the burial prayer, okay, except for somebody who doesn't have water or turab, soil to do the dry ablution, which will hopefully be in the next class, inshallah. And then with regards to tawaf, as we mentioned, it is circling the Kaaba. And then with regards to touching the mushaf, it's not just the mushaf, okay? So it's anything connected to the mushaf. So if your mushaf or your copy of the Quran has like a bag in it, then that is also, or it has like a case, a carrying case, or a strap, or like a box, a carton or case or box, then all of those also are under the same ruling. Okay, so none of those can be touched in a state of wudu. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
شيخ محمد الساعة 3
ايش هذا الصوت؟
الألعاب
ايوه.
هذا يقول لك إنه شوية وشيء برن الدنيا كلها شرط يعني.
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. خير. So yes, holding the mushaf, and then also touching the mushaf. Okay. Now, the exception with holding a mushaf is if somebody is moving house and has a mushaf or a Quran in his or her luggage, and they are moving it from one place to another without wudu, then that is permissible, provided that they don't solely intend to use to hold the Quran. If they intend to carry all of their stuff, then that's fine. Or if they haven't indicated anything, then that's also fine. But if they intend on just carrying the Quran, even though it's with a lot of stuff, then that is impermissible. Okay? So we were just talking about the things that you're not allowed to do in a state of wudu. So salah, tawaf, which is when you walk around the Kaaba, touching the mushaf, and carrying the mushaf or the Quran. So those are the four things, yeah?
You're not allowed to do when you're going round?
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to carry your Quran in your pocket?
No. You're not allowed to.
Do it.
You're not allowed to do that if you don't have wudu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have wudu. Yeah. With that, if you're doing it because you walk around the Kaaba 7 times, if you break your wudu during that walking around, then you just go away and redo your wudu, and then you can return to that spot where you broke your wudu and continue the rounds. You don't have to start again from zero. Okay, but inshallah we'll get to that when we do Hajj and Umrah. Okay, so those are the four things: praying, tawaf, holding a Quran or touching a Quran. And then for a person who is in a state of janaba, i.e. they require a wash, there are 6 things that they're not allowed to do. Okay, so it's the 4 things that we've already mentioned, and it's also being in a mosque or remaining in a mosque Okay, so if a person is in a state of janaba through either through intercourse or from sperm exiting his body, then they are not allowed to stay in the mosque. Okay, they have to leave the mosque and perform ghusl before they re-enter the mosque. Okay, now, and then the last, the sixth one is to read the Quran for the intents and purposes of worship. Okay, so a person is not allowed to read Quran while they're in a state of janaba, while they're in a state of major ritual impurity. Okay. However, this is an important point. If people are reading parts of the Quran for example, protective purposes, so reading, for example, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ or Ayat al-Kursi or قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ for the reasons of protection, then that's fine. Okay, for example, before sleeping, the Prophet ﷺ used to put his hands together, read قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, blow 3 times, and then wipe over his face, head, and the rest of his body. And he used to do that 3 times. So if somebody was in a state of major ritual impurity, they would still be allowed to read those verses for protection, not for worship, but for protection. It's fine. Or other verses as well that are used for protection, inshallah. So those are 6 things. The 4 that we initially mentioned, and then the 5th one is remaining in the masjid and reading the Quran for intending to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by reading the Quran. And then for a person who's menstruating, there's 10 things that they're not allowed to do. Okay? So it's the 6 that we've already mentioned. Menstruating. When a person menstruates, there are 10 things that they're not allowed to do. So the 6 things that we've already mentioned.
So this is for women now?
Yeah, this is for women now.
Yeah, the extra 4.
The extra 4.
Yeah.
However, there are 2 that the women do, and then there are 2 that men are not allowed to do, but it's because the women are menstruating. Okay, so we've mentioned the 6th already, so it's the 6th that we've already covered, and then it's fasting. Yeah, so that's for women. When they're menstruating, then they don't fast, but they have to make up their fast if it's an obligatory fast. So things like Ramadan, or if they've sworn an oath to fast, then they need to make that up when they're no longer on their cycle. And then passing through the masjid if they fear soiling the masjid. Okay, so basically passing through the masjid if they fear soiling the masjid, then they're not allowed to do that. If they don't fear soiling the masjid, then they are allowed to pass through, okay, but not remain in the masjid, because that would be one of the points that we've already mentioned, but just passing through. So for example, if a masjid was very, very big, and to get from one side to the other, you could just pass through the masjid, or you'd have to go all the way around. People on their cycle are allowed to pass through, provided that they don't fear soiling the masjid. Naam. Okay, so those 2 are for the women. Okay, but then the other 2 are obviously also related to women, but it's the ruling is for the men. So the 9th one is talaq. So you're not allowed to divorce your wife while she's on her cycle. It's haram to do that. Although it would still be valid if somebody did it, okay? But it is technically haram to divorce one's wife while they're on their cycle. But obviously that lies in the hands of the man, not in the hands of the woman. No. And then the last one is foreplay between the belly button and the knees, and obviously that one is with regards to the man as well. So those are 10 things that cannot be done if a woman is on her cycle. Okay. The next chapter is tayammum, which is dry ablution. There are. Was there any questions on the? No. Yeah, the next chapter is tayammum, which is the dry ablution, where we can do ablution with earth, with soil, if we don't have water.
I think you covered that one two lessons ago.
I might have mentioned it.
Yeah. Remember when we was talking about, if we're out in the wilderness, like
Yeah.
in the desert
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you can. So that.
Yeah. So this is the actual chapter that might have been like mentioned in brief, but this is the chapter. So there's 3 reasons why a person can do tayammum instead of doing wudu. Okay. So the first reason is lack of water.
Yeah.
Okay, so this gets a little bit technical, but inshallah we'll try and cover the main points, and then if there are any questions, we might leave it till the next the next class, because there's a lot of like, and if this happens and if that happens. But the first is if there is a little water or no water. Okay, so if a person is certain that there is no water available, then they can do tayammum. They can do tayammum, and then they can pray with that tayammum. Okay, with that dry ablution, and we'll talk about how to do the dry ablution at the end.
Like,
But
like with dirt, you mean?
with dirt,
sand,
with
dry sand.
with dirt, with the soil, with earth. So if they're certain that there's no water available, then they're allowed to do the dry ablution. And if they are unsure as to whether or not there is water available, then they need to search for water. Okay, so if they've got there could be water here, they need to search. So if they're in a house or whatever, then they need to ask the residents of the house if they have water available, and ask them to use their water. If they're in, like we mentioned, a deserted place with not many buildings around, then they need to check in all directions, north, east, south, west, with a radius or a diameter of 300 cubits, which is about 450 feet or 137 meters. They need to travel in the 4 directions to see if there's water available before doing the tayammum. If they travel at that distance and they can't find it, then they are permitted to do tayammum. And if they are certain that it is available in what is referred to as hadd al-qurb, the distance of qurb, like nearness, then and that is 1.5 miles. So if they're certain that within 1.5 miles of where they're from there's water available, then they have to go to get water. Okay. Yeah. وجب عليهما طلبه. So it's obligatory upon them to go and find that water. Yeah, and if it's more than that, then they don't have to search. No. Also, it's a condition that they, if they're worried about themselves, like their health, or them being harmed in searching for water, then they don't have to search for water. Or they're worried, mathalan, that they might get robbed, their money might be taken from them, then they also don't have to search for water. And then the second is marad. So if a person is sick and ill, then they are permitted to do permitted to do tayammum. And with that, with the water, with them using doing tayammum instead of using water, they are permitted to do tayammum if they think the water will harm them. So if, for example, they've got a cut on their arm, and they know that using water will either harm the limb or make them more ill, or make the issue worse, or even just prolong the recovery period, then they're permitted to do the dry ablution. Okay. No, and similar reasons. So things that might pertain to the illness in and of itself, or the extension of the illness, then they are permitted to do tayammum instead. And then the last reason is if the water is required for drinking, for what's referred to as haywan muhtaram. Okay, so like if human beings need water to drink, then it can be left for them to drink, and the people can still do tayammum. So in some of those situations, the water is still there, like still available, but they have a valid reason to not use the water. Inshallah, we'll end it there, because tayammum can get a little bit technical. Inshallah, we ask.
Are those questions? Are those questions?
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide and protect us, and to teach us from His knowledge, and allow us to act upon the knowledge that we learn. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide, protect and help us, inshallah, and allow us to enter into Jannah without any harm or any accountability or any difficulty, us and our loved ones. Walhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Fatiha.
What's all those things keep flashing at?
These are things.